Thank you for joining us. It's a beautiful evening, and we are excited to be here tonight to really engage with all of you and share with you something that's incredible that we have found that's going to help with some of our metabolic health issues. If you've been struggling with eating and struggling with belly fat and struggling with high blood pressure, cholesterol, and any of the conditions we'll talk about today. But if you've been thinking you're doing everything right and you're really trying, you're exercising every day almost, you're eating clean, and still things aren't happening for you, we're going to share with you an incredible solution tonight that we have found for us. And we've got an incredible team of speakers with us here this evening, ranging all the way from Canada, all the way through the US down to Mexico. So we're excited to have everybody here today. So welcome. My name is Monica. I'm up here in Colorado or down here, depending where you are. Um, I'm um, I'm very excited to be here tonight because I have been helping people lose weight, exercise, eat right for around 25 years. And the thing is, I was taught what I thought I was taught was right, but I learned not too long ago, 3.5 years ago, that actually what I was teaching may not have been of the exact proper protocol and proper thing because I was taught that we should, eat 3 meals a day and eat 3 meals a day and also snack all day long, maybe three, four snacks to keep our metabolism up. Boy, was I wrong. And I found this out the hard way. I had personally gone through some challenges in my life with my mom getting cancer. I was her primary caretaker. And also, I was going through a messy divorce at the time. So it was like a double whammy of stress and anxiety. And I ended up putting on weight that I'd never had before. I'm a very active person. I've run 10 marathons. Even though I was struggling always and always on a diet, I had never gotten really big. And then everything changed in that time frame of my life. And it was very depressing. And I'm going to kind of maybe share a picture here of me. It's not the nicest thing to share, but I'm going to do it tonight. So this is what happened to me after going through this struggle of looking after my mom, trying to be a good caretaker. And yet, even after doing that, I realized in that journey with my mom that I really wish I would have known what I know now and learned 3.5 years ago about something called insulin resistance. My mom had been struggling with type 2 diabetes. My grandma actually died from it, her mom. And I just thought it was destiny that these are things that are passed on to, future generations. Anyways, my mom got really sick and then she was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And here's a picture of my beautiful mom. Let me just go there for a minute. Hold on. And I lost her to cancer, and it was devastating for me. And that's when I lost control of my own health. I ended up looking like this. I put on weight. I couldn't get rid of it. Even though I wasn't eating very much, I was a lot of times starving myself because I was so frustrated with how I looked. And I had a good friend connect with me at that time. And it's been a fellow coach that I'd known from my past. And he said to me, maybe you're insulin resistant. And he said, I think you are. And I said, what is insulin resistance? Anyways, he shared it with me. And we're going to share with you an incredible two tools tonight, a protocol that can help you manage the symptoms of insulin resistance. And by what I'm going to share tonight, I want to share what happened with me. After looking like this and him coming to me and telling me what insulin resistance was and being able to address it like right on, heads on, I went in 90 days from looking like this poofy person on the right here. You can see all the inflammation in my face. Here I'm running a marathon in Niagara Falls, and you can see the inflammation through my body, and I was overweight. And you wouldn't think that would happen to someone that's this active, right? Well, 90 days following the protocol we're going to teach you tonight, I went from looking like this to this. Not only did I drop 4 dress sizes and inches, I also got off my thyroid medication that I was on, which was amazing. I've been on that for quite a while. I got off the doctors were ready to put me on a statin. And I really happily, excitedly went to my doctor and showed him what I was going to do. And he said, go for it, because it's in the physician's desk reference. And then I also got off my hormone replacement. This was a very expensive hormone replacement I was doing. They were pellets, and every 90 days I had them injected under the skin. And that cost me $350 out of pocket. So lo and behold, in 90 days, I was able to change that. So it changed my life. And that's why we're here today to share this with everyone so that you can see that this is something you don't have to struggle with either. There's natural solutions. You don't have to get on medications and get on statin drugs and all these things. And we do sometimes need medications, but a lot of times we really don't. There's natural alternatives we can do to get off. So let me kind of share that with you. Here's the root cause to all these conditions, why you get stuck and you can't lose weight, even though you're eating right and exercising and all these things. The main root cause for that is insulin resistance. And I want you to take a look at some of these conditions or symptoms of insulin resistance. I didn't know. And when I was shown this, I went, oh my goodness, I had like 5 of these. So kind of take a look here if you're watching this today. And, obesity, midsection obesity is a problem with that, neuropathy. Um, for men, they get erectile dysfunction. We already have men very young in their 30s already suffering with that. Women, we have our own issues. We have PCOS. We have problems with getting pregnant. That's a big thing nowadays. Fatty liver. And here's just kind of another picture of you can kind of look at what happens with insulin resistance. It usually shows up on your skin first in the form of psoriasis or those darkened skin patches like you can see here or skin tags. And what do? We go, when that happens, we end up going to, a doctor or a dermatologist to get them cut off. It's not solving problem. It's just they're going to come back, right? We have to get to the root cause. But all these conditions end up leading to hormone imbalances. As we mentioned with men, the men get the man boobs, loss of strength and stamina. Women, they get the thyroid issues, men too with the thyroid, adult acne, infertility, hair loss, and facial hair. No woman wants that, right? But these hormone imbalances end up leading to estrogen dominance, which in turn turns to low thyroid and it increases our fat storage around our body because our bodies can't flush out all this extra glucose that's coming in. So we end up with things like high blood pressure, upper abdominal obesity, the visceral fat. And I want to show you what visceral fat looks like. This is a very scary condition. This
Oh,
is,
mother.
oh, you're no, someone's not muted. Hi. I can see that you're down there. Thanks for being here. Yeah, this is visceral fat, and you've seen people run around with this kind of fat on them. It's the fat that's not in front of that, the jiggly kind, that's subcutaneous fat. This is behind the abdominal muscle, and it makes you look like this. You've seen men run around with this. You can see them at the beach, and they look like they're pregnant. We know they're not pregnant. Women too, right? So, and when this visceral fat, it's choking all your organs, and it actually, here's what a heart looks like with this visceral fat. Can you imagine all your organs looking like this? It's surrounding your heart here. This is a healthy heart. This is one with visceral fat. This is so dangerous. You're choking all of your organs inside your body. And why is this happening? It's because we're eating all the time. We get up in the morning. We were taught by the cereal companies because they wanted to sell cereal that first thing in the morning, breakfast is the most important meal. And we're supposed to have breakfast in the morning or cereal. And a lot of us eat all those cereals. Look how big the cereal aisles are at the store. Those are not healthy. There's not even fiber in them. It's all like makes our blood sugar go up. So we eat cereal in the morning in this example. Then what do? We have our morning coffee. We pour cream into it. We don't measure it. We pour. I know I do that. I'm guilty, totally guilty. And then because our blood sugar is elevated, you can see here, this shows our blood sugar, the blue line. And then the purple line here is our insulin. And when our blood sugar is jacked up, our insulin is struggling to come back down, but it can't. Because what do? When our blood sugar goes up, it has to come back down, and we have a crash, and then we get the munchies. So we have a snack, if you're working from home, you walk in the kitchen, you grab all your stuff. Then we have lunch, the great American diet, whatever it may be. We go to McDonald's or a fast food place. Our blood sugar goes back up, our glucose. Then we have another snack. And then soon enough, it's dinner. And all day long, our blood sugar has been elevated and our insulin has been trying to bring it back down. Well, over an extended period of time, it could be, 2 years, 5 years, it could be a couple of decades, with your blood sugar constantly elevated and your insulin not being able to bring it back down, we become what's called insulin resistance. And you saw these symptoms that are all related to insulin resistance. And we wonder why we end up going to the doctor. And then all of a sudden the doctor says, well, you're type 2 diabetic. And you go, whoa, how'd this happen? It happened because of this. We're not giving our body a break. And that's one cause. The second cause of insulin resistance is that all the fibers have been removed from our foods. You look at this, wild rice here. What do? We move all the bran and everything around it, and we eat this white rice. No more fiber. And food companies know that fiber is not the best tasting thing, so they take it out. So everything is like sugar, everything turns to sugar, and it's highly addictive. It's more addictive than cocaine. So now look at the wheat. Same thing. We remove all the bran fiber and then we eat these, yummy white breads, white stuff, Twinkies, all that stuff. Okay. So that's another example. And then we come to our fruits and vegetables. All our fruits and vegetables in nature have the proper balance of fiber and sugar. What we do is we remove the fiber around the pectin fiber around the apple and we make juice out of it. So I always like this example. How many apples can you eat till you're like full? Maybe one, two, especially the big apples. It takes about 6 to 10 apples to make this apple juice, and there's no more fiber in it. So you're drinking pure sugar. And I was guilty of this. I did not know this. I used to send my kids to school, like in the morning, they'd have juice with breakfast, more likely not a healthy breakfast. And then at school at lunchtime, they got juice again. And guess what? You wonder why our kids are wired. This is why they're wired on sugar. And then lo and behold, even sugar in nature is surrounded by fiber, sugarcane. We remove the fiber and we make sugar. Okay, so fiber is so important in our life. Whoops, very important. The benefits of fiber, if you're a diabetic or pre-diabetic, it's your best friend. We need more fiber and we're not getting it. And we're going to talk about that today in a big way to replace that fiber so your body, your microbiome is getting what it needs. But it helps control blood sugar. So it helps with diabetes, pre-diabetes, protects your heart. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the world, and stroke. Okay. It protects your heart by controlling the cholesterol and lowering your triglycerides. Does all those things. And then, of course, also with gut health, IBS, mental health. Our brain is directly attached to we have two brains, our brain up here and the one here. If this one's not good, this one's not good. They go hand in hand. So it helps a lot with that, with also a lot of, we're seeing a big rise in depression and anxiety. And then, of course, obesity, it just makes sense. If you're getting the fiber that you need, you're not going to eat as much. You can't. Fiber is very satiating. It does not get digested. It goes slowly through your system. It doesn't digest, so it makes it so that you can't eat as much. So this is a big thing. And we have an obesity problem right now in this country. And I want to show you this picture of this little boy here. He's just a 9-year-old, and he was already suffering from fatty liver. This is not even something that was heard of. It was usually 40-year-olds and up from alcohol. This is a child, and guarantee you he's not drinking alcohol. It's because of the food environment. And this is him using what we are going to teach tonight. And in 4 months, he went from looking like this to this, just by reducing meal frequency and adding more fiber to his life. This is what we all need, from children to adults. We all need it. We're running into a really crisis in the world right now. Our age kids and younger are becoming, I read an article that it's a 700% increase in children that are in their like 30s, late 20s, early 30s. They're seeing a 700% increase in type 2 diabetes. Why is that? It's because our food is not the same food we used to eat. Everything's modified and processed. Here's a good example of that. This is a modern peach. This is what a peach looks like that is like organic in the wild. What's the difference? It's been modified, just like all our produce. And here's the problem. These food companies, these 11 right here, alone have captured a $3.3 trillion value essentially by selling different flavors and refined carbohydrates to us. If you go in the store, this is the biggest sections of the grocery store. This is not real food, and this is what we're consuming every single day. Our kids are consuming it. They're making lots of money by keeping us sick. And so what we're going to cover today is how to reduce the core problems of insulin resistance and kind of make a bridge between where you are with your health and bridge that gap so that you can heal again. Because as the food industry is making us sick, big pharma, you know what they're doing for us? They're getting us on more medications. I mean, some of these drugs were prescribed to people that had diabetes. It's not that anymore. Everybody's getting GLP injections because they're desperate. They're getting on metformin, Ozempic. They're getting surgery because they're desperate and they don't know where to turn. And we have a solution. So people don't need this. This is something that we're going to show you how you can get these kind of results better without the side effects by following a protocol that we're going to teach you tonight with two tools, adding more fiber to your life and using something, and mine's empty, sipping on something here. I call it my liquid willpower in a bottle, liquid gold that you can sip on to help you when you're in a fasted state to keep you there. But just before we do that, I want to start and introduce you to some very special people on this call tonight. And I think Jennifer's first. Jennifer's down there in beautiful Mexico. And Jennifer, why don't you come on and introduce yourself and tell us what's happened with you on this journey
Perfect.
so far?
Thanks, Monica. Hi,
You're
everyone. So I'm on my sixth week now on the Feel Great system, and I do feel great, definitely. So my main problem started when I was pregnant. So 3 years ago, I got very inflamed, edema in my legs. And I figured, oh, I'm going to totally lose it once I give birth. And like a year later, I'll be able to kick it. And 3 years after I gave birth, I still had the edema in my legs and the inflammation and the weight gain was still hanging around. So I said, well, I have nothing to lose. Why don't I give it a try and see what happens? So right away, the first 2 days literally lessened the inflammation. I felt like it almost had gone, all of it. And my husband and I both took it, and he as well had some IBS, so lots of inflammation around his intestine and stomach area. And after 2 days on the system, we were like, wow, this is incredible. And from then, it just got better. So, cutting cravings. I was a big candy, cookie, chocolate person, especially late at night. So, this helps to cut all my cravings. And then, after a week in, I felt, oh my gosh, my pants are looser. And then a month in, people were noticing and commenting and saying, you look great. And obviously, the varicose veins and the edema in my legs almost entirely cleared up. And I'm only on my 6th week. So I'm like really curious and excited to see what's going to happen as we go forward.
That is
Oh,
awesome.
last thing I should say is that my portion size, because I'm a big eater. I'm quite tall person, an athletic person, so I'm used to eating tons. I would eat 2 hamburgers, a giant plate of pasta, 3 pieces of lasagna, and now I have 1 hamburger and I'm full. So the cravings and the portion size are all controlled with this system. Very surprised, excited, and yeah, just looking forward as I'm moving forward here. What will happen more?
Well, you know what? You mentioned something to me last week
Yeah, that's
about a skin tag. Why don't you share that
exactly.
with everybody? That's awesome.
Exactly. So when you're pregnant, it's very natural. Skin tags start to occur. So I had them on my chest, and I was going, oh, I wonder when they're gonna fall off. Thinking, and no, they were hanging around because I had no idea about insulin resistance. I didn't realize they were connected. So at week 5, last week, the skin tag on my chest fell off And I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I'm like cleaning and clearing the inside, not just the aesthetic, not just the outside, but the inside is changing, the organs and at the cellular level. So I'm very excited. Yeah.
Well, Jennifer, I'm excited for you too, and you look fabulous. I like your
Thank you.
haircut your mom was giving you just before we got started. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And in Mexico, being in Mexico, you guys have all these outdoor like food. They have food stands everywhere. So
Exactly. Here, it's a huge problem. People will go to a restaurant and then leave the restaurant and eat at the food stand outside the restaurant, right? Like once you have food, you still have more food. It's so common to eat 6 times a day here. So I'm so excited to share with other people around to help them so they can find their best selves and to find their good health again as well. Because we don't even think that eating all that time, all those times are really causing us pain and causing us our suffering because we were told to eat small meals multiple times. Like,
yeah,
how come we're told this wrong information? Yeah, now with the new science, with insulin resistance that's coming out and being known by more scientists and more medical practitioners, we're going to get this out to people. We want to help people.
well, thank you. We need more voices like you, especially down there in Mexico. That
Exactly.
is an area where there's a lot of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes because of the amazing food. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. You look fantastic, and thank you for sharing with all of us.
Thanks, Monica.
Appreciate you. Well, let's move on to the other side of the continent here. We're going from south to the north.
To the
Let's
north.
yeah, let's hear from Donna. Donna, tell everybody where you live and your
Hi.
results on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Donna, and I'm in snowy, cold Canada. Snowy, and I'm telling you, it's snowy and it's cold. Yeah, I've been on the system for just about 4 weeks. And I must say, I'm blessed not to be suffering with all these complaints that a lot of people have. But I'm really thankful that I started it because after 1 month of use, I feel stronger. I have more, when you walk downstairs and so you get sometimes the knees go creak, creak, creak. They no longer creak. My energy is up. My skin feels firmer. And I usually have a night cough. As I put my head on the pillow, the cough would start. And since I started on the system, no more cough. It's completely gone. So also, when I sip on the drink throughout the day, I do not get the urge to eat. And when I say eat, not food, but maybe a snack or so, I don't do that anymore. So these are real results for me, and it's why I'm feeling confident to share it with everybody.
That's awesome. And tell me what this really warmed my heart up the other day. You told me about your grandson. What did he
Oh,
say to you?
yes. My grandson, when he comes on the weekends, and he's always there on me all over, and he will be pulling at my skin. Grandma, why are you so soft? You're so soft. You're so soft. So now when he comes, I tell him, Grandma is no longer so soft. My skin is firm now. Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. And that makes all the difference. That is
Yeah.
wonderful. I'm glad your knees aren't creaking anymore.
Oh, no.
And
Oh,
you
yeah, thank you.
that's 4 weeks. So
That's
thank
four
you for
weeks.
thank you for sharing that.
You're
Appreciate you very
welcome.
much.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, let's go on here and go to the next thing here. I think I have more people I want to introduce you to, but I want to first talk about how we're going to bridge this gap because everybody's going, well, what's everybody using to have these kind of results? So let's get into that. And then we have all these we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more people to hear from that have absolutely incredible results. Hold on a second. I need to decline
Oh,
this. Someone's
back
calling
on.
me. Hold on a second. Let me share my screen here again. Okay, so we were over here. Okay, so everybody see my screen? Not yet. Let's go. Okay, you guys see that? So we have two products, the fiber and the drink that that you heard people talk about sipping on, and one practice that we do, and the practice is incorporating reduced meal frequency. This is very important. And then the two products are the fiber. We talked about not getting enough fiber in our diets and eating all the time. So this is what we're going to incorporate. And most of us, or some of us, when we fasted before, we have had a problem of maybe having headaches when we're fasting, or we're hungry, we don't have energy, we're going to address that as well, because we have a tool here that you can sip on during the day that is going to make it easy for you to fast. But first, I want to talk about this fiber. This is an incredible fiber. This is not something, the fiber is not new. The fiber's been around for around 30 years. If you guys are old enough to remember Rexall drug, I know Rexall is still in Canada, but Rexall drugs used to have pharmacies all over the United States. They started in 1903. There was thousands of pharmacies, Rexall, around. It changed. It became a manufacturing facility in 1990. It was called Rexall Sundown. And they came out in the University of, so in Santa Barbara, they put together something they wanted to put out there to get people off statin drugs. And they came out with something called Bios Life, which is now what we have in these packets here. It's improved over the years, but this is a patented formula they came out with. And Unicity took over that patent in 2001. So they own this patent on it. You can't get this fiber anywhere else. And it's not a, I want to point out, this is not a fiber like we may find at the grocery store, like a Benefiber maybe, or a Metamucil. These are a one source fiber that are basically Phileas husk in them to help you really be regular and go to the bathroom. So they're fabulous for that. This fiber here is just a tad more. This fiber, when you take it, has, first of all, 7 fibers in it. 4 of them are patented. What it does, it heals your microbiome. It gives your microbiome all those good, those little bugs in your stomach, all those good things to eat. And they did a study at the University of Sydney on this fiber. By the way, the glycemic index, the #1 research facility in the world, they actually started it. But they found that when they did a study on this fiber, if you take this with your main meal, you're going to reduce your blood sugar spike by 28%. That is quite incredible. So it's going to reduce the blood glucose levels by 28%. This fiber, in more recent years, has also been studied by the Cleveland Clinic, which is the #1 heart hospital in the world. They again were doing research on it because there's so many people on statins now, and they wanted to get people off the side effects of having people on statins. So they did a published study as well. And then we are also in this here, it's the Doctor's Bible, the Physician's Desk Reference, PDR.net. You can look it up. And it's in this is the Doctor's Bible. And when a doctor gets you on a medication, every single medication is in this book. So when they put you on a medication, they can look at what it does, the clinical studies, and also the side effects it may have with anything else you're using. Well, we happen to be in the Physician's Desk Reference because not because we're a pharmaceutical, we are a nutraceutical, but there's been over 30 clinical studies on this protocol and on this fiber. So the studies are there. It's endorsed, of course, by the Cleveland Clinic. The Diabetes Association is also listed in the research in there, so you can take a look at that. Was very exciting for me because I took this to my doctor when I first started, and I told him to look it up in the Physician's Desk Reference. So this is more than just a fiber. This is a pre-meal drink that you take just before you eat. You mix it with, 4 to 6 ounces of water, shake it up rapidly, make it frothy, and just chug it just before you eat. Because what it's going to do, it's going to make you more satiated so you can't eat as much. Donna mentioned that she can't eat as much. Even Jennifer mentioned she can't eat as much, right? So it slows digestion of carbs. It gives you healthy blood glucose, insulin levels, your cholesterol, your triglycerides. It does all those things, and it's plant-based. So it's kosher, it's halal, and it's gluten-free. So it's unbelievably good for you. And of course, here you can see there's 4 patented fibers in it. So when we normally eat without this fiber, we have an incredible blood sugar spike, a carbohydrate spike. Our insulin is elevated, and whatever goes up must come down. So we have a crash. When we crash down here, that's because our blood sugar crashed and it makes us hungry. We eat more. So when you're on this protocol, the opposite will happen. So instead of having this happen, it's going to be level, your insulin's going to be level, and your glucose won't spike. So you can burn fat easier. You're not going to be hungry. You're not going to crash. You're going to have more energy. And They did a study, and I just love this because this is what a lot of people have for breakfast. We give it to our kids, maybe. They did a glucose study. They monitored this. So they took 2 Eggo waffles. They fed that to a person with 2 tablespoons of syrup and 10 ounces of orange juice. This is like a total sugar meal, but this is a very common breakfast. So this is 420 calories. It has 1 gram of fiber, which is horrible. It has 51 grams of sugar and 89 grams of carbohydrates. So in this study, they gave people the balance, the fiber, and then the other part didn't do it. So you can see the blood sugar spike up here from the people that didn't take the fiber first, and the people that took the fiber, you can see how it evolved there. It was a 43% lower glucose response just by having that fiber before you sat down and ate. So again, real quickly, it's called Bring Back the Fiber. It, I think Jennifer mentioned the IBS. So it helps with keeping you regular. It's great for your skin, which Donna mentioned. And of course, we talked about this University of Sydney and the Cleveland Clinic, but there's a part that they put in their published statement. It said, such a product, if taken regularly, can reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the use and dosage for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. This is a huge statement to make, absolutely huge. So that is on the fiber. And next, I'm going to talk about reducing meal frequency, but I'm going to bring on another speaker, Susan, in just a minute. Let me talk about this book first. There's a doctor in Toronto, Dr. Jason Fung. He did a study in Toronto with people that were type 2 diabetic. And he reduced their meal frequency, which is going to be our next topic. And just by doing that, within 3 to 6 months, they were totally off their medications without being on any kind of drug. So let me show you his study. This is his book. I highly recommend you get it. The Diabetes Code. He also wrote the book, The Obesity Code. But he did this in Toronto, and it was just about reducing meal frequency. So we're going to touch on that in a minute. Just before I do that, though, I like to bring on another guest speaker before we get to our last two. So, Susan, why don't you come on and tell everybody where you're from and share so far what's happened with you?
Hi, I'm live in Havre, Montana. Um, I I'm also a runner, avid runner, very active person. I've ran marathons, half marathons, and for the most part, I've been able to keep my weight to keep it off. And my husband died about 4 years ago, and up until about 2 years ago, I noticed the belly fat and just fat in places that I never had before. And so running wasn't keeping my weight down. And I guess I've struggled with my weight most of my life. I've probably tried every diet there is. Here within the last couple of years, every time I tried a diet, I gained 10 pounds. So didn't work very well. Anyway, and I had a lot of bloating, just never felt good. Um, Tired. I'd sit down on the couch after I ate, fall asleep, get up in the morning, and right away I'd go to the fridge and eat something I probably shouldn't eat and sit down and fall asleep. So one day I looked in the mirror and didn't like what I was looking at on the outside or the inside. I had lost my self confidence. And I happened to be looking on Facebook one day, and I happened to notice my sister-in-law had a post on there, and I kind of looked at her picture, and I'm like, "Wowza, okay, I really need to find out what she's doing because, wow." Anyway, so I got in touch with her and met with her and started on the product September 1st. Never looked back. To date, I've lost 23 pounds, down 17 inches. My blood pressure is down because that had also gone up. My bloating's gone. My belly fat is I mean it's I'm not self-conscious of my belly sticking out like, I'm pregnant, which I'm not. I'm almost 69 years old. So anyway, my energy level is up. I'm training for a half marathon in Honolulu. Um, I have back issues, but this seems to be helping. I don't have to take my high-powered anti-inflammatories as much. Um, I'm totally off my antidepressants. It will be 5 months, the 1st of February, that I've been on this product, and it's the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Um, that I, it just makes me feel good, and it is so easy. That's all I can say. It's so easy.
That's incredible. I mean, we're looking at your picture right now. It didn't look like that you were that big anyways, but we have to feel good about ourselves, and you can see your little love handle's gone. And look at you on this cruise. You look absolutely stunning. So wow. Thank you for sharing. That's wonderful. And good luck with your marathon there in Hawaii. I might just join you, huh?
Okay, yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Susan, for sharing. And we might as well slip right into Mary. Mary, unmute yourself and introduce yourself and tell everybody where you're from and what's happened with you. It's awesome.
There we go, everybody. So I'm Mary Wellman from St. George, Utah, is what I always say. Happy to be here. It's a beautiful place. I was introduced to the Feel Great system in March of this year. I'm a scientist at heart. I was very skeptic that something could help me lose weight when I tried every diet there was out there. You name it, carnivore, you name every single one. They didn't work. And I was very frustrated because I was challenged to lose 30 pounds by the doctor from a product that we had in our wellness center. I was part of a wellness center, set it up in Providence, Utah. So I was like, okay, I'll lose 30 pounds. That was 6.5 years ago. I tried everything. I did workouts, I did diets, and then my two partners who were personal trainers said, well, Mary, you need to eat frequently to keep your metabolism up. You need to eat first thing in the morning. You need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And by doing that, I was eating like 6, 8 times a day. Guess what? It didn't help me lose any weight. It only helped me gain weight. I might lose 3 pounds working out hard, and then I gained 5 back. I was very discouraged. I tried everything, and I have a very dear friend, a mutual friend of ours, Carolyn Clark, who also was trying to lose weight, and we're the same age, 76. So she would call me up and say, we got to try this, we got to try that. Well, bottom line, after trying so many things, I just pretty much given up. I was humiliated. I had this belly. I did not look like the fitness trainer that I was supposed to be. And quite honestly, I was very depressed over it. So anyway, Carolyn calls up and says, I know why we can't lose weight. I said, why, Carolyn? Why? And she said, because we're insulin resistant. And I went, oh, now in all my science research about 6 months previous, I had discovered that, but I didn't know what to do about it. And so now she had my attention. Yes, I did more research because I'm a major skeptic and I wanted to know what exactly I was doing. I became very confident, say, okay, I'm going to try this. I had the belly fat. That was my biggest thing. I had the skin tags. I had elevated blood pressure. I had really bad inflammation in my body. Let's see, what else do I had? I had all kinds of stuff. I mean, getting older is just like part of your aging. So look at this picture. Now you can see where my B3 big belly was sticking out.
Is
And
that
I
what the B stands for on your
yeah,
shirt?
big bad belly. That's what that stood for. And just in that next picture, just in from from let's see, what is that? March.
March 18th.
Thank you. Thank you. In 3 months, basically, I had gone down 22 pounds, lost 4.5 inches off of my waist, and my A1C came down from 5.3 to 4.8. That was really good. They were both good numbers, but 4.8 is even better. My blood pressure came back down to normal, and I was very excited. So now this was so easy to do. So, so easy. And when I realized that I only had to eat 2 times a day and drinking an iced tea along the way. The big thing was I don't cook. I tease, I don't cook, I Costco. And so it was really nice for me to know I didn't have to worry about making something to eat 6 to 8 times a day. That was stress relief. All along the way, it was the easiest thing I ever did. My self-esteem came back because now today I'm down even more weight. I'm down about 33 pounds and 5.5 inches off of my waist. I feel so good. I'm no longer embarrassed to be out dressed like I'm going to work out, or I put my new swimsuit on last July in Miami, and I'm telling you, I'll have to give you that picture. I
Yeah, I'm waiting.
I keep forgetting to send that to you, but for 76 years old, I thought I looked pretty dang good. So, easiest thing I've ever done. I love it. I'm what's called a lifer. I will never stop using this system because even though I lost my weight, I've gained health that I never dreamed that I would have back again at my age. So,
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. And you're an inspiration. I'm telling you, I've seen that picture. I think you posted it on Facebook or something. I've seen that beach picture. And
I
you
did
are
look good, didn't
beautiful.
it?
Yes, it's awesome. So thank you for sharing your story. It's so you hear about us struggling and not being able to fast properly before this, and this how makes it so easy. So let me show you a tool we have, and then we're going to get to the last, not the least, but the last two people are going to share their story in just a moment. So let me share my screen one more time here. So this is something that is amazing. It makes fasting easier. Comes from a plant. It's called from South America. I mean, in Argentina, they've been drinking it probably for hundreds of years. It's from the herba mate plant. And what is amazing about it is it makes it so that when you drink it, I'm getting all these phone calls. When you drink it, you're not going to get hungry. You're not going to be wanting to snack. Mine's empty because I just finished it, but this is an incredible drink. It comes in one of these little packets, and what it does, it makes it so that you're not hangry. You don't have any cravings. It controls, I call it my liquid willpower in a bottle. And we sip on this in our fasting window when we're not eating, and it just makes it easier. You don't have the headaches, you don't have the hunger coming in. I use it for pre-workouts. So when I go to the gym or when I go swimming, I have it at the end of the pool and I'm sipping on it because it gives me more stamina. It also helps you stay satiated so you're not hungry. I have to remind myself to eat. I used to be a big snacker. I mean, I couldn't walk into a grocery store without walking out with a snack, and I'd be eating it in the car before I even left the parking lot at the store. It also, by doing that, it helps with managing your weight management. But here is the biggest thing. Remember, we're talking about people getting on, these GLP-1 shots and metformin, Ozempic, all those things. These are all synthetic drugs and they do their job. There are side effects that come along with them, though, like loss of bone mass. You've heard about the Ozempic face. And after being on these drugs for a while, they become resistant to them and they need more. Well, here's something that will increase your natural GLP-1 because we already produce it. Let me show this to you. This is quite incredible. GLP-1 is a hormone just like insulin. It's produced in our body, it's produced in our gut. It is actually the master switch to our overall metabolism. Because of our food environment, because of all the modifications and how our lifestyle is, we are not producing the same amount of GLP-1 we used to previous years. I mean, if you look at this in the 1950s and 60s at a beach, you did not see a lot of overweight people. It's a total different scene now. It's because of all those things, and we're not producing the GLP-1. With this Unimate drink, you're able to produce your own production up by 67%. This is humongous. Why would anybody want to get on something artificial when they can do this and let this do their body without any side effects? And this, by the way, is also in the physician's desk reference. So this is phenomenal. And you heard several of everybody that spoke tonight mention how easy it is to do this because it gets away of those cravings we have for different things. So this is our solution, taking these two things together. It has over 20 clinical studies, actually 30 now. It is HSA and FSA eligible, so you can purchase it with that. It's a nutraceutical, not a pharmaceutical, and we've already gone through the physician's desk reference, but it's available now in 63 countries and it's patented. You can't get it anywhere else. In the last 3.5 years since this has been introduced, we have over 1 million people on this protocol with measurable results that have clinical studies to go with them. This is phenomenal. It needs a voice. We need more voices. And this is going to be something that's going to be disruptive around the world to helping people get their metabolic health back in order. It's very inexpensive. It's about $1.60 a packet. So here in the United States, it's about $5 a day because you're taking 2 packets of Unimate, 1 packet of fiber before you eat. I think in Canada it works out to about $6. I'm not sure what it does in Mexico, but it's all about the same. You cannot buy even a McDonald's meal for $5. It usually runs around $10. You're skipping a meal here. I'll show you how to use it. So in the morning when you wake up, you don't have breakfast, you're going to sip on the Unimate. Sip on it all morning, just slowly. You can drink it hot or cold. It's delicious. And then at lunch, break your fast so that, you're going to sit down and have a meal. Make sure you eat good protein, good fats. After lunch, you're going to mix up another one of those Unimates, sip on it. So you don't have to be snacking. It's going to get rid of that need. And then at dinner time, just before you eat, you're going to take the fiber. Just mix it with 4 to 6 ounces of water and chug it. And then after dinner, and in that eating window that you have with dinner, you can have things that you enjoy. The other night, my husband and I, John, we had brownies. We actually, oh my goodness, I made this pear compote. We had pears we had some Stollen in there, German Stollen with ice cream. So you still can have the things you enjoy and love. Just take your fiber first. It's going to reduce the glucose spike. That's how simple it is to use. So you're going to be really eating 1 or 2 meals a day, not 3 anymore, and you're going to eliminate snacking. This will fit in your budget. You're going to save tons of money. It's amazing. And that's how that protocol works. So I'm going to stop sharing again. And I'm going to introduce our last 2 speakers. I'm so excited to introduce my husband, John. He's been on an incredible journey with addiction and also with his weight. That's been a battle, and I'm going to let him tell a story. Go ahead, John.
Oh, thanks, Eileen. I've struggled with metabolic dysfunction and addiction all of my life. I was raised in an alcoholic home, and I coped at a very young age, by eating to escape the trauma of that environment. I became addicted to food at a very young age, as I said, and by the time I was in high school, I was close to 240 pounds when I was a freshman. It was really tough. The bullying, just the emotional trauma just continued to feed my emotional need to eat. I finally got fed up and I lost a lot of weight between my junior and senior year in high school. I felt really good about that. It was just by the need to do it. And but still, throughout my adult life, I've struggled with weight up and down, the typical yo-yo kid, okay, all through adulthood. I also grew up in a house full of smoke. Both my parents were smokers. I get up in the morning in a cloud of smoke, became addicted to tobacco at a very young age. I've been tobacco free now since 2005, so a little over 20 years, but big time tobacco user for a long, long time. Also, as I went through my adult life, I pledged that I'd never be a heavy drinker like my father. Turns out I turned into just a heavy drinker, if not a lot more. I came to Denver out of graduate school. I was not a real heavy drinker then. I started drinking some in graduate school, but I came to Denver, a whole new scene, a new job in high tech right out of grad school, and the social scene was all about going out and having drinks, making friends, having drinks. I drank and I drank and I drank, and I was hooked, very much hooked. And so, fast forward to 2025, Monica and I spent the holiday of Christmas 2024 and January 2025 in Costa Rica. It was a lovely holiday. Unfortunately, it can get kind of wet down there after it rains, and I slipped and I took a massively hard fall, and I shattered my right femur. And there I am in a wheelchair coming back to Denver from San Jose, Costa Rica in a wheelchair. I was totally immobilized. I had emergency surgery in Costa Rica. They had to put a massive metal a component the length of my femur, which I will have in my body forever. And it's quite a sight when you see it on x-ray. But I couldn't do anything for months. I was totally immobilized. I was very depressed. I was drinking a lot and I was eating a lot because those were my coping mechanisms to deal with this, unfortunately. So by April of 2025, I woke up and I was in a very bad way. There I am in April. I had severe neuropathy. You can see my hands. I wore compression gloves. The pain was very bad. Visceral fat, hard visceral fat around my midsection, as you can see there. Look at my face, very much inflamed. And I was spiraling. I was physically stuck, mentally spiraling out of control. Depression crept in and I hit rock bottom. And basically, I was a pre-diabetic at that time as well. And I had a choice to make. It was a choice to change my life. And I'd seen the results that this protocol was bringing to people. I'd sit in on the science calls that Monica mentioned as she was coaching other individuals. And I could tell that this was working for others. And I thought, I need to do it. I need to give it a good try, stick with it, follow the protocol. And in 6 months, I saw some dramatic results that you can see there in October. That's me on the right in October. I lost 30 pounds. I no longer was pre-diabetic. My A1C went from 5.7 to 5.3. My fasting insulin is down to 3, which is a very impressive fasting insulin number. The inflammation throughout my body pretty much disappeared. The edema in my legs, my ankles have gone. And it was just a huge rebound for me, not only physically, but mentally. And the protocol changed my life, and I see it changing the lives of so many people. But one thing I want to add is that this Unamati, again, this tea, it not only satiates you and helps you with the cravings during the day, those sugar cravings, it helped me with my alcohol. I've been alcohol free for 10 going on 10 months now, and there's no looking back. And the Unamati really helped me with my cravings with alcohol. And I'm just really celebrating that because that's huge for me to also not only be moving forward with this protocol, but getting over and conquering my addiction to alcohol. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, John. And I've watched you transform. It's been quite a journey, and to get rid of those things and those addictions is huge. And alcohol is poison, but it's sugar. It is
Sugar.
pure sugar. I mean, think about that for a minute. When you have a drink, you're drinking sugar, just like drinking a glass of orange juice or apple juice. It's very destructive and it makes you sick. And then of course that is even worse. It's poisonous to you. So thank you, John, for the incredible testimony and journey on this protocol. Thank you so much. And let's move right on to Vicky over there in Montana.
Thanks, Monica. Appreciate you having me on. Yes, it is beautiful Montana. We can't complain. It's usually bitter cold here too, like it is in Canada, but we've been really fortunate this year. So anyway, I'm Vicky from Montana, Havre, Montana, and I am Susan's sister-in-law. And I, as well as Susan, lost my husband as well. But before I get to that story, let me just tell you a little bit of my struggles. I've always had issues with weight loss, up and down the roller coaster, as all people have. And it's not been an easy road. There was a time in my life that I was buff and muff, you might say, and was fit. And that was even after having 3 kids. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. However, Vicky let that kind of go by the wayside, and I just didn't keep doing all the exercising. But you can only exercise so much, and especially when you get older. I was one of those people who, oh, you don't have to, you can eat whatever you want and that kind of thing. Well, when 45 and 50 hit, everything went south. And that's when the weight started coming on and the menopause belly, and you name it. I had it all. And to the point that I had gained so much weight at one point in my life that I was even embarrassed to go to family functions. I would even miss out on uh, weddings and different things for our family because I was too embarrassed for my family to see me the way I was. And so when you're not comfortable in your own skin, it makes life very difficult. So this is me on the left side there. That was in July of 24. And that was after I'd lost my husband. I'd lost my mom in September of 21. And I said she was 92 and a half years young because she was a young person at heart and she was had her mind all the way to the end, but time was done. And 10 months later, I lost my husband to a motorcycle accident, which was the worst thing in my life. And from that point, the weight started coming on. I wasn't one that lost weight when something like that was so drastic. I gained weight. And that was 2.5 months after Susan lost his brother to cancer. So, like I said, we'd had a lot of tragedy in our world in about a year's time. And I'd also lost two other family members within that year. So Vicky gained weight, and like I said, this was in July of 24 on my birthday, and I started on this protocol in April of 25 after seeing my dear friend Carolyn had shared something, and it was like, what is this? She's losing weight. She looks great. Hadn't seen her in a long time. Well, Carolyn went ahead and uh, had told me she was insulin resistant, and I had no clue what insulin resistance was. But I thought, okay, whatever it is, you're looking great. I'm going to try it. So I got on the protocol April 24th. I started it and I got on a study with the company. They were doing an A1C study and I participated in that. And I would not share my story with Monica or Carolyn because I had visited with Monica as well. I said until I get my lab work back. So I got my A1C study back from the company, plus I went and had other labs done. And this picture in the blue dress was May of 23. And that was, like I said, still after my hubby had passed. So I was even larger then than I was in that other picture. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And I felt miserable. I was in a tough place, very depressed. And so once I started on the protocol, I went and had lab work done after my 90 days. And I took it to my doctor and I showed her my labs when she walked in. She says, "What are you doing?" And I just grinned. And she said, "Well, this is the best your labs have ever looked, and this is the best you've ever looked. Keep doing what you're doing." And I was elated because I, at that time, was down 16 pounds, 9.5 inches. And today I'm down 29 pounds and over 14 and a half inches. My A1C went from 5.8 to 5.3. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. Inflammation's gone. Energy is back. Was told by another nurse practitioner, you've got a glow in your eyes, Vicki, that you've never had before. So I am blessed to share this with others and let people know that there is hope. You can get your life back again, even after tragedy.
Yes, you can. And you look fantastic. You sent me
Thank
this
you.
picture and it says, wow, it is wow. You are wow. So
Thanks.
that is absolutely fabulous. You know, when we go through tragedies in our lives or difficulties, we all respond differently. Some people don't eat. Some people, like myself, I drank more and I ate, and we end up getting even worse off with our health. So thank you for everybody sharing your incredible stories here today. It's meaningful. We need to let more people hear that there's hope, that they can get their health back in order without doing extreme medications and things that are out there, because that's what's being pushed right now. This is a natural solution that can help you get your metabolic health back. And if you have weight to lose, then you'll lose it. This is not a weight loss protocol. It'll do that though for you when Your metabolic health is in order, everything else falls in order. And we're going to wrap it up here, but just before we do, I want to let you know, when you get the protocol, it looks like this. You get this box. You get 2 boxes of the fasting drink, the Unimate. You get this great little shaker bottle. I love them. We have them all over the place because we mix them up everything in the morning in advance. You also get 1 box of fiber in there. You can pick your flavors and get with the person that's here with you today that invited you, or you know them, and ask for a discount link. We all have a discount that we get for our own supply. We buy right from the manufacturer. The manufacturer gives us a discount, a lifetime manufacturer discount, which is awesome. So get the link so you can get that discount forever. You don't ever have to pay full price. You actually, it's $235. If you were paying full price, we get it for $159. It's incredible. So do that. And the company offers something quite spectacular. You get the 90-day money back guarantee that's unconditional. And in your box, when you get your box, you'll see there's a little QR code right here in the corner. That'll get you to a fasting app that they have, which is really awesome. You can keep track of when you take your Unimate, keep track of when you take the fiber, your meals. There's recipes on there. There's all kinds of good ideas, and you can change your order. You have control of everything that you're doing, but this fasting app is remarkable. So get the discount link. You get the money back guarantee. It's 90 days. And just realize we didn't get to how we are in 1 month. Give it at least 90 days and be like us. We're lifers. I've been on it now for 3.5 years. I'm never getting off. I'm saving money. I'm on no medications and I have food freedom. That's all I can say. It's like unbelievable. And anybody want to say something before we end this here? Because we're like an hour right now. So I want to just kind of wrap things up. Anybody want to say anything exciting or something you want to throw
I
in
just
real
want
quick?
to say something. The freedom that I have not being continually craving food, especially nighttime nibblies, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So,
Mary.
hey, no more nighttime nibblies.
Good.
Thank you.
And if you get one, guess what you do? You take another fiber. It's easy peasy. Anybody else want to add something real quick?
I agree.
Protocol is, go ahead,
Uh,
Susan.
No more hostage to food.
I love that. Hostage to food.
Yeah.
We're just going to throw in how simple it is. Again, I know we've talked about that, but the system couldn't be simpler and more straightforward, and it's powerful.
Well, thank you.
Exactly. The balance is a salad in a pouch. You can carry your
Yes.
salad with you.
Anywhere you go, I love that. Good one.
Yeah, except for it doesn't taste like salad. It tastes like dessert first.
But it's true.
Yes, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah. And by the way, for everybody listening, we have a new flavor of this Unimate coming out. It's a chocolate mint. It's going to be available at this month, at the end of the month. It's delicious. We can have that as a dessert, and it's like reduced caffeine too. So I can't wait. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
everyone.
much,
you.
everybody. I appreciate you
Thank
guys
you.
and have a wonderful evening.